In case many of you don't know, I'm not really a TV show guy. I'll definitely watch a couple of TV shows if I'm interested in them, or if they've had a few solid seasons. I'll always check the next one out out. But of the thing that stops me from really wanting to binge TV series is is that is the point where a series can get boring, where you don't really want to finish it. That's why I prefer movies. Trust me when I say it's more easy for me to finish a bad movie than it is for a bad series, because with a movie you're just watching one whole thing, but with a series you're watching like a couple of multiple episodes. Post. So, but I have actually seen quite a few series this year. Yeah, granted, most of them are like extra seasons to show O's I've already seen, but it doesn't change the fact that the series I've seen this year, yeah, have been pretty good. I've even done a few reviews on some of these series. And since I still need to work out a few more details for my best and worst film analysis, I think it's a good idea to look at some of my favourite series. Now, since I'm not really a series viewer, and I haven't watched any series, because I'll only be ranking 5 series here instead of the usual 10. But who knows? Oh, if I watch a lot more series recent this year, it this could become an annual thing, and I might expand the number to 10. I'm Charlie Lipinski, and welcome to the top 5 best TV series of 2025. Number 5, Marvel Zombies. Bees. Yeah, the MCU has been really picking up on that animated content for Disney Plus. Us recently. Whether they're connected to the MCU might be debatable, but it didn't change the fact that they're still able to create some great content, and this series is a good example as to why. The season's main goal was to take the concept of the what if episode, so zombies and expand on it to explain everything that happens afterwards. Is as such, the series offers a really compelling story, interesting characters that you want to see make it out okay. A great voice acting throughout, and intense and insane action. Seriously, throughout all movie and TV, this show has some of the most insane action scenes I have seen in a year. However, that's not to say that this is a perfect series, because there are things that do hold it back. While the animation itself isn't bad, there are times where it can look flat, and like there's not much effort for being put into it. It's that and this is a series where it's really hard to be interested. There was the middle, which is especially the case with the second episode. So, I was really liking most of the episodes I was in the season, but I definitely found out the second episode was where things dragged. But even with those minor complaints, it didn't change the fact that I had a really good time with this one. And in a year where we got so many superhero content, and it's always great to know that even the undead heroes can just be as awesome as the living ones. Number 4, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Yeah, Marvel Zombies wasn't the only Marvel Disney Plus series put on it. This was like the first big series I watched at the beginning of the year. And honestly, it quickly became one of my favorite Marvel series. It's the thing that got me really invested with everything in the film. On with this here. It's quite simple. It's basically a leader retelling of Peter Parker's life after he got bitten by a spider. Only there's a lot more of a twist to it's there are certain characters that give hints to like the people that they'll become. In later Iron Man and projects, which makes watching them really interesting thing to see the subtle clues and what's gonna happen for the next time. On top of that, Marvel Zombies has some more intense action. This one has a lot more dynamic action scenes. Where the series is made, only takes place of the cinematography and using the camera to get the best shots possible in all action sequences. However, even if this is a really good series, if it's like Peter's life, it can have a few mishaps. One thing that holds it back is that I feel like this series keeps repeating itself. It's only repeating different elements of Peter's life in many different episodes. To the point where they become dull and predictable after. What? Oh, also, I've never been huge on the animation. It's definitely not bad, and it works well in the action scenes. But it's definitely noticeable that it could have been a lot better. But even with those minor critiques, it doesn't change the fact that this version of Peter Parker and his life is Spider-Man, and it's just as spectacular as all the others. Number 3, Miraculous Tales of Lady and Cat Noir, Season 6. Okay, technically I'm kind of cheating on this one, because as at the time of recording this we've only got 16 of the 26 episodes for the season, meaning there are an extra 10 that have yet to be released anywhere around the world. I promise you that if those 10 episodes were released, then there's a good chance that this would be a lot higher on the list. But I put this one on the list because, as with what we've seen so far with the season, I've been loving every minute of it. The season roots and does a great job continuing from the consequences of season 5. After the defeat of April, while things seem better for Marinette's life, I've now. She is finally live in the dream of her relationship with Adrian. She still has to keep the secret of his. She still has to keep the truth of his father a secret from him. And the episodes have been building up to where Eric can all lead to some giant consequence. And it's all revealed to him in the end. And on top of that, this season has a really interesting villain. Lila took over Hawkmoth to become the new villain, Chrysalis. And man, I need to do a separate video about her, because this is a fantastic villain. I remember seeing Illustrator for the first time, and I was just amazed with what they're doing. especially using the different voices to the victim's mind, and to keep the heroes off the track of who this really is. It's even if we already know. Oh, also the animation definitely got an update this season, and it really helps. Paris feels a lot bigger than ever, and the action scenes are more intense and exciting. What's great about them is that now that all the side heroes have the miraculous permanently, it can leave the door open for more dynamic and exciting action scenes where you never ever know who will be helping Ladybug and Cat Noir out in the next episode. Even though we haven't seen the full picture of what this series has to entail, it doesn't change the fact that everything we've been seeing is miraculous. I've been loving everything I've seen so far this season with the miraculous, and I can't wait to see more. Number 2, Wednesday Season 2. One of my most anticipated series I was easily looking forward to this year was the second season of the Netflix series Wednesday, since I really loved the first season. And even if this season isn't as good as the first, it still doesn't change the fact that I had a fantastic time with the season. So one thing I really loved is how each of the characters have their own little spotlight. It makes sure that within these 8 episodes, each of the main characters have a little arc going on which it still does give them enough of time to be fully developed, and have people feel more invested with them. On top of that, the main story itself is quite interesting. While I do think that this is one of those series that can get over ambitious, especially with all the different storylines it has going on, the ones that we do mainly focus on are quite interesting. I think with any different twists and turns. And on Wednesday, trying to prevent Enos Smart, to uncovering secrets about the Addams family, to be could be manipulated by the new principal Dot, or to actually try to be fair as with be cool, or that it becomes the big main threat of the series IC9. It has to do a job of balancing in everything out and having viewers interested for more. On top of upping the horror to make scenes even more intense and than they already are, and the visuals definitely noticeably getting a bit of a bit. Even though this season did get a bit too overambitious for me, but I did struggle to keep up with all the different storylines, it didn't change the fact that I was loving everything I've been seeing. The Addams have always been creepy, key, mysterious, and spooky. But this season of Wednesday, as they managed to be all around amazing. Now, before we get into my favourite series, please allow me to have an honourable mention. Ironheart. Okay, originally I was thinking about doing a huge best list of all the series I've seen, but seeing as I haven't really seen many series, I didn't think it was worth it. But as I will say, when looking through everything, I was considering close to putting this one on here. Well, this definitely isn't the best thing we've got in the MCU. It is definitely, I do think it is one of their better TV series that I've seen. I really like how it expands Riri's role from Wakanda Forever. That's how she wants to make her own legacy. It's like her own version of Iron Man known as Ironheart. Heart. As well as with all her different relationships, especially with the friendship with her best friend, and that's if you like Ace became an AI system, it's the that we created. Also, the season probably has one of the more underrated to the MCU villains. Seriously, the Hood is a really interesting threat where he grows a lot more menacing as the season goes on. Well, it's debatable if he's the MCU's best villain. He is still quite interesting regardless. Although I do have to hold this series back because I do have quite a few flaws also with it. I do think the stories can drag on in certain moments, which is why I wasn't huge on the fourth episode. And lots of the side characters feel unnecessary or put to the side. But those issues are more mine. I know can to everything. And it doesn't change the fact that even this is, though it isn't the best season of the series of the year, it's still a good one. Riri may not be as amazing as Iron Man, but she did. It created a good series that did live up to Tony's legacy. And the #1 best TV series of 2025 is Hazbin Hotel Season 2. Yeah, I really got into the first season of Hazbin Hotel a lot more than I thought I would. So I was definitely excited to see what would happen next time I return to Pentagon and City to visit Charlie and her friend as in the hotel that redeemed sinners. And I was not disappointed in the slightest. The thing that makes this season even better than the first one, and is that it expands on everything we saw in the first season. The story is a lot more interesting this time, as Charlie has there's already sort of proved to Heaven that redemption is possible, but now she has to prove to everyone and how that redemption is possible, especially since one of the sinners from the first seasons Avengers has made his way up into heaven. But it honestly makes her arc very interesting, and still it makes me fully engaged with her as a main protagonist. Also the action and animation option are really good this season. So there are some great action sequences that had me invested throughout this entire series' running time. And I just couldn't wait to see more. And all the other characters had a lot of development also. Well, I do think Luke could have easily had a lot more development. It did seem like they had an interesting idea for her being a secondary antagonist this season. But it just ended up with her being wasted. Then everyone else was given their own moment to shine. I think everything I've seen from him, especially with Fox, where he took over as the main villain of this season, and easily became the best character of the series. I don't know who the main villain is going to be next season, but as I will say that Fox really set the standards high. And of course, how can I talk about Hazbin Hotel without its incredible music? Like the first season, the songs are amazing, but I honestly think that the songs in this season were a lot better than the last season. It helps that there were a lot more of them as well, which helped give me me a lot more bangers to listen to. Seriously, I've been listening to the soundtrack non-stop for or nearly 2 months now. I think it's safe to say that I've become addicted to these songs. That admit, any great 8 moments I had when watching all the different series this year. It but Return to see Ollie and her friends at the hotel. Alan, how gave me the most enjoyment with TV I had this year. And that's why Hazbin Hotel Season 2 is the #1 best series of 2025. And that's all I got for the top 5 best TV series of 2025. I really hope I end up watching a lot more TV series this year, because I have fun doing this list. And this is something I wouldn't mind making a little annual thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!